Hi everyone and welcome back to Media Arts. So today is going to be the beginning of our coursework for Media Arts. So I'm going to go over a number of things with you today, and I'm also going to show you how to make a Google drawing, which is going to be our very first project. So they're going to be a little bit of just bookkeeping things that we're going to go over also, but I'll continue to show you a little bit about me and a little bit about Media Arts. So here I am in Heron Studios, the actual studio that's adjacent to my classroom where I record Heron TV each week. Hopefully at some point you'll be able to come into the studio and work, whether you're doing voiceover work or you're recording as an anchor for Heron TV. You get to use this space because it's a nice quiet space and we have controlled lighting and it sounds great. So let's get right into the lesson. So I'm going to go back over to my slides like I do normally. So let me slide on over there and then we're going to be working here. All right, so welcome back to Media Arts. As you guys definitely know by now, I'm Mr. Oliver. So I'm really excited to have you guys in class. And I'm excited to really get started with things. So kind of the beginning of the year is really learning about just procedures and things like that. But I'm going to try and jump right into things. So, all right. So here is our virtual classroom space that I've shown you once before. So let's jump right into things today. And I'm going to start explaining. You're going to start working on your All About Me Google drawing. You'll probably be able to finish it. For this class, I really expect you to spend about an hour to an hour and a half per week. That includes the times that you spend on Mondays watching my video, doing the activity. So I don't want to swamp you with work. I know that you're going to get lots of work from some of your other classes, but hopefully this is just a fun, creative outlet for you. And you're welcome to work as much as you like, kind of take it as deep as you want for all of our different projects. Okay, so Media Arts. I think I talked about this a little bit in our video last week, but Media Arts is really all the different arts that we're going to use on computers. So we're going to do photography, we're going to do presentations and videography. We're going to get into graphic design and some video editing. So all those things are going to be part of the class. But so today we'll actually kind of start with a graphic design project using Google Drawings. So if you've ever used Google Drawings before, you know that it's a project or it's an application where you can actually go in and draw with your mouse. That's really a feature I don't use very often, but you can also arrange pictures and text to make a poster. So we're going to do that sort of thing. I'll show you that in just a moment. All right, so I think I've already introduced you before, but so this is me, and that's actually kind of an All About Me poster that I made for my advanced classes. So that's actually using an application called Photopea, which we'll use later in the year, which is a lot like Photoshop. But these are all pictures that I took this summer, and they kind of represent me, my family, my pets, and my hobbies. And so you're going to do a similar drawing, but we're going to use Google Drawings. I think for our first drawing, it's going to be a little bit better for that to work. Okay, we are going to make a Google drawing, and I have a video that explains all of that it's going to kick over to my basement where I recorded that session of it. So let's magically transport to our basement now. All right, so when you open up your All About Me Google Drawing in Google Classroom, it's going to look something like this, although it'll have your name already on there at the end of It's All About Me. So what you're going to do is you're going to see we've got some directions here. You're going to add images that represent you to this drawing, and also you can change the word name to your name, and you can edit the text by clicking on it, changing the font color, changing the size. You can add text boxes, shapes, etc. Experiment and have fun. And once you understand the project, you can delete these instructions. You can actually even just drag them off to the side. And the reason why that is because a Google drawing, anything that has these checkers here, it's going to be the canvas that you end up seeing for your drawing. So the only things that are going to be on here where it says all about your name. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can move it around wherever I want. And you are going to change this by double-clicking on it. Now the reason why that is because this is word art, okay? And I'll show you a little bit about word art here. You're going to add in your name. So I'm going to add in Mr. Oliver. Just go ahead and put your first name. That's fine. And then now you have some text that's here. And you may have added text to a presentation or to a Word document before, but for this is word art, and I'm going to show you a few things about that. So when it's selected, you can go ahead and change your font, just like anything, and you can pick a font that you think works nicely. Find a fun font that works for you. So I'm going to try Architect's Daughter. I like that font. I think that works nicely. Now, I'm going to show you some tools that we have here, and instead of just having it solid color, just like it's regular text, you can go ahead and change the fill color to any color that you like. I'm even going to choose a gradient, maybe do a gradient green, and then I can also change my border color if I wanted to whatever color I wanted. I think that looks kind of strange like that, so I'm going to leave it black for right now, but I'm going to adjust my thickness to something that I think looks nice. So by hitting on those little buttons where it says border weight, I could choose something incredibly thick, which is obviously way too much, or I could choose something a little thinner that's going to look nice. And now I have All About Mr. Oliver as a name, and I can move it around anywhere I want here. Now, you can make it larger by taking the corners, and if you hold down Shift when you drag them, they'll stay in the same dimensions as you make it larger. Let me show you what happens if you don't drag the corner, or if you don't hold Shift down. So if I was to change the dimensions, now that font's going to look completely different. So I'm going to undo my mistake by hitting Command and Z, just like that. It's back to how it was before. As I want to resize it, one option is for holding down Shift and doing that. Okay, some other things that I can do is where it says Format Options here in my toolbar. If I go ahead and click that, I can actually choose size, and then just from size, I can increase the height, or I could increase the width. Now that's going to make it also get distorted, so I'm going to hit Command Z to get it back to how it was, and now I'm going to lock my aspect ratio, and as I make it bigger, it'll work that way. So that's one option you can do in size under Format for size and rotation. I could also rotate it as I wanted to. Now, that's all I need for that, because now I want to look at drop shadow. So drop shadow, as you can see, adds a shadow there. You can adjust just the amount of transparency. And so you probably want it fairly thin if you were going to use this. You can adjust the angle, so wherever you think your light source looks like it's coming from. I like it to be really close. And then just adjust your distance so that it looks just like it's got a little bit of shadow and it adds some character to it. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Blur radius, the more you adjust, the less you see it. I'm just going to leave it about there. I think looks pretty good, maybe even a little bit less. So it just looks like it has some depth. So that's how you add your name to your drawing. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to add images. There are a variety of ways to add images, and one thing you're going to learn in Media Arts is how to add your own images from your own camera, or to find images on the internet. When we're using a Google drawing, the easiest thing to do, and the most ethical thing to do, is to use images you have the rights to use. And Google Drawing and all Google applications make it really simple by hitting the Insert Image button. So what you're going to do is you're going to search the web. Now, when you click Search the Web, every image that you can see is already been licensed for you to use, which is great, so you don't have to go and get permission to use anything. You can't just take any picture from the internet and use it on your drawing. So we're going to search for some images. Now the first thing I want to do is a background. So let's say that you like spending time at the beach. You could just go ahead and search for beach, and there's going to be lots of pictures of beaches, and I'll just find one that I think looks nice, and I'll click on it, and I can then just hit Insert, or I can drag it in. I'm just going to go ahead, click on it, and hit Insert to show you what happens now. So it says Creating Images, and then my picture appears. I can make this picture larger. I can hold down Shift, just like I was showing before, and I'm going to make it the full size of the screen, and you'll notice that I have lost access to everything else in my drawing. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So you're probably thinking, oh no, we lost it all, but I'm going to get it back, don't you worry. What we're going to do is we're going to arrange this object so that it goes all the way to the back. So if I hit Arrange Order and Send to the back, it's all the way back. And you'll also notice that it is larger than my checkered square. So it's actually automatically going to cut it off, but I'll show you by lining it up. This little red line that appears on the side of the image, I can line that up with my ruler, and then this is now going to be pretty much what I end up seeing on my slide. All right, so now that I've got a background of a beach, I'm going to go back to my word art by clicking on it, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to move it to a spot where you can see it better. So a little more contrast by putting it down on the beach. So there, I now have that. Okay. We're also going to add some images of things that we like to do. So I could add some pictures along here. One thing I love doing is taking pictures. So not only do I teach a photography class and a media arts class, but I also spend a lot of my free time taking pictures. So I'm going to search again for an image, and this time I'm just going to search for a camera. And so now what I'll do is, oops, I hit the wrong button. Let's go back here. So close that out. I'm going to hit insert image and search the web. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in camera. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 letters that say PNG. That's going to be a transparent image that when I add is going to hopefully look pretty good on here. So let's find a picture of a camera that I want to use. I'll take this one. That looks great. So once again, I click on it and I can hit insert, or I can even just drag it. I'll drag it this time so you can see what that does. And now I have this camera here that I can then make smaller, and I can put wherever I want on the frame. So I can do all sorts of things. All right, so now I've got a camera, and I could repeat this process finding lots of things. I'm not going to show you everything because it's going to take a while to work on, but I think this should give you a good idea. Now, one last thing that I want to show you before we download this image is how to make this look like it has a picture frame on it. So what we're going to do is go ahead to our toolbar, and we're going to draw a shape, and we're just going to choose a rectangle. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle the size. That didn't work. Let me try that again. I'm going to draw another rectangle, and I'm going to draw it the size of my entire thing. Okay, so now let me take it all the way to the edges, and I'm actually going to need to shrink down my picture now that I'm doing this, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so here is my shape. Once again, it's hiding everything, so I'm going to have to put it in the back. I don't want it to look like that. I'd rather it was just white. And so now I'm going to move it to the back. So I'm going to hit Command, Shift, and down. I could also hit Arrange to do that same thing. So see how I range order and send to the back. It just shows the shortcuts for that. So now I'm going to go back to my picture, and this time I'm going to make it look smaller so that it's inside of my frame. Now it looks like that. I can go here to my shape. I can change my border size, and now I'm getting a line around it, and it looks kind of neat. And then I'm obviously going to have to play with it to make the text look right. But this should probably give you a couple of ideas for how you can arrange objects to make them look great in a Google Drawing. All right, so I'm going to add a few more things to this, but I'm not going to show you all those. But I am going to show you the step where we're going to download this to our computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit File and Download as a JPEG this time, and it'll go down to your Downloads bar. Now, if you're using a Chromebook, you can also save this to your device. Depending on what kind of memory you have set up on there, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. I think you can also save it directly to your Google Drive. But either way, you're going to try and get this JPEG to be a file that's saved locally to you and no longer just inside the application. So this way you can use the image in other places. There you have it. That is a Google Drawing. Hopefully it went well for you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to come to my office hours. I will have some contact information on my website, how you access those office hours. So let me know. You can always send me an email, and I can set up a private session where we can talk about what we need to, or we can meet in the office hours. Really, like a lot of things this year, we're not 100% sure what it's going to look like, but we do know that we are going to have some fun, and we're going to figure it out together. So whatever you do, guys, I want you to relax. I want you to take it slow and enjoy this experience that we have. And just remember, guys, never stop creating. I'll see you in the next video.